The Hang Seng Index is a freefloat-adjusted market capitalization-weighted stock market index in Hong Kong. It is used to record and monitor daily changes of the largest companies of the Hong Kong stock market and is the main indicator of the overall market performance in Hong Kong. These 50 constituent companies represent about 58% of the capitalization of the Hong Kong Stock Exchange. HSI was started on November 24, 1969, and is currently compiled and maintained by Hang Seng Indexes Company Limited, which is a wholly owned subsidiary of Hang Seng Bank, one of the largest banks registered and listed in Hong Kong in terms of market capitalization. It is responsible for compiling, publishing and managing the Hang Seng Index and a range of other stock indexes, such as Hang Seng China Enterprises Index, Hang Seng China H Index Series, Hang Seng China H-Financials Index, Hang Seng Composite Index Series, Hang Seng China A Industry Top Index, Hang Seng Corporate Sustainability Index Series and Hang Seng Total Return Index Series. Hang Seng in turn, despite being a public company, is held in majority by British financial firm HSBC. History. The Hang Seng Index was created by Hong Kong banker Stanley Quan and debuted on November 24, 1969. Statistics. When the Hang Seng Index was first published, its base of 100 points was set equivalent to the stock's total value as of the market close on July 31, 1964. Its all-time low is 58.61 points, reached retroactively on August 31, 1967, after the base value was established but before the publication of the index. The Hang Seng passed the 10,000-point milestone for the first time in its history on December 10, 1993 and, 13 years later, passed the 20,000-point milestone on December 28, 2006. In less than 10 months, it passed the 30,000-point milestone on October 18, 2007. Its all-time high, set on October 30, 2007, was 31,958.41 points during trading and 31,638.22 points at closing. From October 30, 2007 through March 9, 2008, the index lost 9,426 points or approximately 30%. On September 5, it fell past the 20,000 mark the first time in almost a year to a low of 19,708.39, later closing at 19,933.28. On October 8, 2008, the index closed at 15,431.73, over 50% less than the all-time high and the lowest closing value in over 2 years. On October 27, 2008, the index further fell to 10,676.29 points, having fallen nearly two-thirds from its all-time peak, but passed the 20,000-point milestone again to 20,063.93 on July 24, 2009. The index reached 25,000.00 on August 19, 2014, reaching as high as 25,201.21 that day, later closing at 24,909.26 points. It continued rising to hit 26,000 on April 8, 2015 with a close of 26,236.86 the following day. It rose to as much as 27,922.67 before closing at 26,944.39. Yet again, another milestone was reached on April 13, 2015, rising to over 28,000 points, or closing to 28,016.34, the highest since December 2007. On July 8, the index fell as much as 2138 points. On August 21 the index entered a bear market. Components. On January 2, 1985, 4 sub-indices were established in order to make the index clearer and to classify constituent stocks into 4 distinct sectors. There are 50 HSI constituent stocks in total. As of December 31, 2014 they are, Hang Seng Finance Sub-Index, 0939 China Construction Bank, 0005 HSBC Holdings plc, 1299 AIA Group Limited, 1398 Industrial and Commercial Bank of China, 2388 BOC Hong Kong Limited, 2318 Ping An Insurance, 3988 Bank of China Limited, 3328 Bank of Communications Limited, 0011 Hang Seng Bank Limited, 2628 China Life, 0388 Kex Limited, 0023 Bank of East Asia Limited, Hang Seng Utilities Subindex, 2 trillion pesos Holdings Limited, 0003 Hong Kong and China Gas Company Limited, 0006 Hong Kong Electric Holdings Limited, 0836 China Resources Power, Hang Seng Properties Subindex, 0016 Sun Hung Kai Properties Limited, 0001 Chung Kong Limited, 0688 China Overseas Land and Investment Limited, 0004 Wharf Limited, 0012 Henderson Land Development Company Limited, 1109 China Resources Land Limited, 0101 Hang Lung Properties Limited, 0017 New World Development Company Limited, 0083 Sinoland Company Limited, 0823 The Linker EIT, Hang Seng Commerce and Industry Subindex, 0941 China Mobile Limited, 0700 Tencent Holdings Limited, 0883 CNOOC Limited, 0013 Hutchison Whampoa Limited, 0267 CITIC Pacific Limited, 1928 Sands China, 0762 China Unicom Limited, 0027 Galaxy Entertainment Group Limited, 0066 MTR Corporation Limited, 0857 Petro China Company Limited, 0386 Singwood Corporation, 015111 China Holdings Limited, 0992 Lenovo Group, 0322 Ting Holding Corporation, 1044 Hengan International Group Company Limited, 0019 Swire Group, 1088 China Shenhua, 1880 Bell International, 0144 China Merchants Holdings, 0293 Cathay Pacific Airways Limited, 2319 Milno Dairy, 0494 Lian Feng Limited, 0135 Kunlun Energy, 0291 China Resources Enterprise, Limited. The Hang Seng Composite Index Series was launched on October 3, 2001, targeting on providing a broad standard of the performance of the Hong Kong stock market. It was last revamped on March 8, 2010, and comprises 307 constituents. The market capitalization of these companies accounts for about 95% of the total capitalization of the stocks in Hong Kong. To ensure the impartiality of its operation, Hang Seng Indexes Company Limited established an independent advisory committee to give advice on issues pertaining to the indexes, including constituent changes and the development of new indexes. Hang Seng Industry Classification System. Hang Seng Industry Classification System is a comprehensive system designed for the Hong Kong stock market by Hang Seng Indexes Company Limited. It reflects the stock performance in different sectors. It caters for the unique characteristics of the Hong Kong stock market and maintains the international compatibility with a mapping to International Industry Classification, General Classification Guidelines. The sales revenue arising from each business area of a company is the primary parameter of stock classification. Profit or assets will also be taken into consideration where these better reflects the company's business. A company will be classified into different sectors according to its majority source of sales revenue, or profit or assets if relevant. Reclassification of a stock's industry sector will occur once the company's business has undergone a major change, such as substantial merger or acquisition. Industry sectors: energy, material, industrial goods, consumer goods, services, telecommunications, utilities, financials, properties and construction, information technology, conglomerates, source of information. The classification of each stock is based on the information available to the public, for example the annual reports and company announcements. Selection criteria for the HSI constituent stocks. HSI constituent stocks are selected with the use of extensive analysis, together with external consultation. To be qualified for selection, a company must be among those that comprise top 90% of the total market value of all ordinary shares. Must be among those that comprise top 90% of the total turnover on the Stock Exchange of Hong Kong Limited SEHK. Should have a listing history of 24 months or meet the requirements of the following guidelines. Guidelines for handling large-cap stocks listed for less than 24 months. For a newly listed large-cap stock, The minimum listing time required for inclusion in the stock universe for the HSI review is as follows. Among the eligible candidates, final selections are based on their market capitalization and turnover rankings. Representation of the respective subsectors within HSI. And financial performance. Calculation formula for HSI. The current Hang Seng Index is calculated from this formula. Descriptions on parameters. P, T, I1 quartish current price at day T, P, T1, I1 quartish closing price at day, ISI 1 quartish issued shares, FAFI 1 quartish free float adjusted factor, which is between 0 and 1, adjusted quarterly, CFI 1 quartish cap factor, which is between 0 and 1, adjusted quarterly. Daily reports for HSI. Investors in Asian markets monitor the following reports for investment activities. Hang Seng Index's Daily Bulletin, Hang Seng Index Constituent Stocks Performance, Index Performance Summary, Total Return Index Series Daily Bulletin. Representativeness of the HSI. The representativeness of the HSI can be studied by the turnover of the whole stock market and by how much its market capitalization covers. The aggregate market value of the HSI constituent stocks is maintained at approximately 60% of the total market value. This coverage ratio compares favorably with major overseas stock indices. Other related Hang Seng stock indexes: Hang Seng China Enterprises Index, Hang Seng China Affiliated Corporations Index, Hang Seng China H-Financials Index, Hang Seng Mainland 100, Hang Seng Mainland 25, Hang Seng HK35, Hang Seng REIT Index, Hang Seng Corporate Sustainability Index Series, Hang Seng Composite Index, Hang Seng Composite Industry Indexes, Hang Seng Composite Size Indexes, Hang Seng Short and Leveraged Index Series, Hang Seng China A Industry Top Index, Hang Seng China 50 Index, Hang Seng China AH Premium Index, BCYRHE Telephone Florin to the first EOE, Hang Seng China AH Index Series, Hang Seng Total Return Index Series, Hang Seng Dividend Point Index Series. See also SSE Composite Index, SZSE Component Index, Taiwan Capitalization-Weighted Stock Index. References. External links: Bloomberg page for HSI, IND, official website, Reuters page for HSI, historical market capitalizations for companies part of Hang Seng Index.